Medieval India, page number 189. India in the first half of the 17th century. Akbar and the Uzbeks. In 1510, following the defeat of Uzbek chief Shai Bani Khan by Safavids, Babur had briefly regained Samarkand. Although Babur had to leave the city after Uzbeks had inflicted a sharp defeat on Persians, the help extended to him by the Persian monarch established a tradition of friendship between the Mughals and the Safavids. Later, Humayun too received help from Safavid monarch Shah Tahmasp when he had sought refuge at his court after being ousted from India by Sher Shah. The territorial power of the Uzbeks grew rapidly in the 70s under Abdullah Khan Uzbek. In 1572 and 73, Abdullah Khan Uzbek seized Balkh, which along with Badakhshan had served as a kind of buffer between the Mughals and the Uzbeks. In 1577, Abdullah Khan sent an embassy to Akbar proposing to partition Iran. After the death of Shah Tahmasp in 1576, Iran was passing through a phase of anarchy and disorder. Abdullah Uzbek urged Akbar should lead an expedition from India to Iran in order that they may, with united efforts, release Iraq, Khorasan and Fars from the innovators, Shias. Akbar was not moved by this appeal to sectarian narrowness. A strong Iran was essential to keep the restless Uzbeks in their place. At the same time, Akbar had no desire to get embroiled with the Uzbeks unless they directly threatened Kabul or the Indian possessions. This was the key to Akbar's foreign policy. Abdullah Uzbek also approached the Ottoman Sultan and proposed a tripartite alliance of Sunni powers against Iran. As if in reply to this, Akbar sent a return embassy to Abdullah Uzbek in which it was pointed out that differences in law and religion could not be regarded as sufficient ground for conquest. Regarding difficulties faced by pilgrims to Mecca, he pointed out that with the conquest of Gujarat, a new route has been opened. He emphasized the old friendship with Iran and admonished Abdullah Khan Uzbek for making insulting references to the Safavids and said they were Siyads and sovereigns. Akbar's growing interest in Central Asian affairs was reflected in his giving refuge at his court to the Timurid prince Mirza Suleiman, who was ousted from Badakhshan by his grandson. Abul Fazl says that the Khyber Pass was made fit for wheeled traffic and that due to fear of Mughals, the gates of Balkh were usually kept closed. In order to forestall invasion of Badakhshan, Abdullah Uzbek fomented trouble among the tribesmen of the northwest frontier through his agent Jalal, who was a religious fanatic. The situation became so serious that Akbar had to move to Attock. It was moved to attack. It was during these operations that Akbar lost one of his best friends, Raja Birbal. In 1585, Abdullah Uzbek suddenly conquered Badakhshan. Both Mirza Suleiman and his grandson sought refuge at Akbar's court and were given suitable mansabs. Meanwhile, with the death of his half-brother Mirza Hakim, 1585, Akbar annexed Kabul to his dominions. Thus, the Mughal and the Uzbek frontiers ran side by side. Abdullah Khan Uzbek now sent another embassy which Akbar received while he was at Attock on the river Indus. Akbar Akbar's continued presence so near the frontier had made Abdullah Uzbek uneasy. After considerable maneuverings and a Mughal threat to come to the aid of Iran, the Uzbeks succeeded in capturing from Iran most of the areas they had coveted in Khorasan. In this situation, it appeared best to Akbar to come to terms with the Uzbek chief. Hence, one of his agents, Hakim Human, was sent to Abdullah Khan Uzbek with a letter and a verbal message. It seems that an agreement was made defining the Hindu Kush as the boundary between the two. It implied the Mughals giving up their interest in Badakhshan and Balkh, which had been ruled by Timurid princes till 1585. But it also implied that Uzbeks not claiming Kabul and Kandahar. Though neither party gave up its claims formally, the argument gave the Mughals a defensible frontier on the Hindu Kush. Akbar completed his objective of establishing a scientific defensible frontier by acquiring Kandahar in 1595. In addition to this, from 1586, Akbar stayed at Lahore in order to watch the situation. He left for Agra only after the death of Abdullah Khan Uzbek in 1598. After the death of Abdullah, the Uzbeks broke up into warring principalities and ceased to be a threat to Mughals for a considerable time. Thank you everyone for tuning in. In the next part, we'll start with relations with Iran and the question of Kandahar. Thank you, all the best, and do subscribe and share the channel and keep supporting us. Thank you everyone.